AITA. My nephews missed a flight because they wouldn't put their seat belts on. My brother is working and he asked me to take his nephews, 13 and 15-year-olds, to the airport to fly to their grandparents. I picked them up and I drive off. I then got the annoying car notification telling me their seat belts aren't on. I told them to put the seat belts on and they refused. I told them I don't care. It's like a $500 fine to drive a minor without a seat belt on or something in California. They kept being spoiled brats, saying they don't need to and dad lets them not wear seat belts. I said I don't care. I won't drive until they wear their seat belt. They kept whining they're going to miss the flight. I said that's their problem. They called their dad, who starts yelling at them telling them to wear it. They do eventually, so we drive, but we get stuck in traffic and miss the flight. My brother is fucking pissed, saying it's my fault for just not driving them. We waited about an hour before they decided to put their belt on. NTA. I was 6 when I was upside down, seat belted in the backseat, spinning down I-10, east of Dallas after a 10-point buck ran across the interstate and nearly killed us. My sister, my mom and I literally wouldn't be alive today if we hadn't been wearing seat belts. Because we were. The car was totaled. The hospital thought we were going to be DOA, but my mom had a cut on her nose that needed stitches from glass from the windshield when we crashed in the median and knocked down a young oak tree. You were absolutely not the asshole. And anyone who doesn't wear a seatbelt and doesn't enforce seatbelt use absolutely is. NTA. The missed flight is definitely on his kids. They're way too old for this to have happened. Lol. NTA. What a couple of punks. You did the right thing. You could have gotten in trouble or endangered their lives. And would your brother have paid your ticket? Of course not. Would he be pissed at you if they got injured in the car? Of course he would. Edit. Also, he's a huge off for not making them wear their seatbelt regularly. NTA. Were they planning on doing the same thing on the plane? Telling the aircrew that their dad doesn't make them wear seatbelts so they don't have to? Hope they learned something. NTA. The kids were being brats, aka little Oz, and their dad is the aw. They most definitely need to wear their seat belts. Their dad never enforcing that as an issue, and then missing their flight as the consequence of that. Besides, you were the responsible adult in this situation. You weren't doing anything to put them in danger. Just the opposite. They were under your care and needed to follow your rules. Hopefully they learned a lesson here. NTA. You were completely in the right here. First of all, it is the law. Second, if you were caught, you are the one who is held liable. Third, it is your car. Therefore it is your rules. It is entirely irrelevant what their father lets them do when in his car. They aren't in his car. You had to wait for an hour before they would put on the seatbelts? That is beyond crazy. That means you would have left in plenty of time to catch the flight if they hadn't been acting like entitled brats. NTA. I can't even imagine kids 13 and 15 who are aware that there is a chance of missing the flight wouldn't just put the seatbelts on, even after their father told them to. Whining and complaining, sure, but refusing while just sitting in the car for an hour? My guess is that they didn't want to go see grandma and purposely did this to miss the flight, making it your fault instead of theirs. At least in their minds and their fathers. It's either that or they are just massively spoiled and disrespectful to both you and their father. Or maybe they don't want to risk bringing COVID to grandma or getting sick themselves since younger. People are dying now of the Delta variant. Not your fault. Can you imagine if there had been an accident and one or both of them had been hurt? their father would certainly put the blame on you. And financial fallout on you. Not to mention having to live with that for the rest of your life. Definitely NTA. NTA, but bro and the dad are. You're not obligated to pay a fine for the dad's bad decisions. Especially because I doubt that neither the dad or your bro would have paid you back for those tickets. Edit. I first said bro was off for raising kids. But those are his nephews. NTA, they are the sole reason they missed their flight. You were simply being responsible. In addition to the fine, there's a huge safety issue at play. I'm assuming you had to take a highway. I would not imagine being on a highway without a seatbelt. I can't believe your brother's anger is so misdirected at you. 100% their fault. NTA. It's extremely reasonable to require anyone you are driving to follow the law and wear a seatbelt. Good for you for not caving into them. It's so ridiculous and rude for them to argue about it for an hour. They made themselves miss their flight. It's not your fault at all. Am I crazy, or did I read this exact same thing a few months ago? NTA. They're old enough to put on their damn seatbelts. So what if their dad doesn't make them wear them? Dad wasn't driving. You were. If you would have been pulled over, you would have been the one ticketed, not them. Not dad. I think you were perfectly reasonable waiting for them to buckle up. Your car. Your rules. NTA. Fee aside, a flight isn't worth the risk of losing 2 kids' lives. Anyone who disagrees doesn't actually care much about them, regardless of whether that person is their father. NTA. Teenagers are old enough to know the importance of seatbelts. And the way they behave, you'd think they were 10 years younger. It's one of the most basic safety precautions for using the car. The alternative is the seatbelt warning being on the whole time, which could be a distraction. NTA. It's a safety and legal issue. Guarantee if you'd gotten stopped or something had happened, you'd be under the bus. Them missing the plane falls squarely in your brother's lap, with his children having ownership as well. Next time your brother can drive them. NTA. Not only could you have gotten fined, but it's dangerous too. Plus, they should have respected you. NTA. I wouldn't have taken on that liability either, and no one should ask you to. Those poor grandparents. NTA. NTA. NTA suggest you never offer those lovely turds a ride again. Tell your brother to piss off, he is the aw.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.